Welcome into the Women's Basketball Report for January 3rd, 2017. The first of 2017. Coach Krystal Evans in here with myself, Scott Erland, to talk about some women's hoops. Coach, haven't caught up with you in a little while. We had the holidays there after your game on the 17th, so got a lot to catch up on here with the Lady Railsplitters basketball. Since the last time we talked, you guys took the floor against the Newberry Wolves, a team that we know is historically been a pretty strong team in the conference, and then even before that you played Wingate, and another really strong showing for the girls. They go and grind out a double overtime win at Wingate, and then come back here and really take care of business against a solid Newberry team with a 26-point win. So just assess how your girls rounded out 2016.
Well, I'm obviously proud that we were able to come back against a very good Newberry team, and they match up so well against us, and be able to pull that out, right before Christmas break. One thing that I know a lot of coaches get worried about, as I do myself, is just, when you're close to breaks, you have players that tend to check out prior to the break, and they just get focused on packing their stuff and what they're going to do when they get home, and what friends they're going to see, and all those different things. And it's just hard to keep them focused during that school break. So the fact that we were able to pull out that victory really meant a lot. The girls actually left right after the game and were on Christmas break, and so that's something that we talked about quite a bit that week, is just keeping your focus and make sure that we're finishing things on a good note. And obviously we are undefeated. That's something that the girls have really taken a lot of pride in, and you don't want games like that right before break to slip away and lose your focus. And like I said, I'm just proud that they were able to keep it and pull out that victory, because Newberry, like I said, is just a good team, and you never know if they're going to be on, and if they are on, oh my goodness, it's going to be three-pointers all night. And I just think we did a great job defensively with them and guarding the perimeter.
Well, let's go back a couple of days before that. When you go over to Wingate, when you look ahead on the schedule, that Wingate game is going to be, one of the toughest you play all year, that trip to Wingate. And you probably learned a whole lot about your team that night. You get up by 12 points. You're kind of dominating a lot of it. Wingate makes that run like we probably knew was going to happen, and it ends up going to double overtime. The girls have to come up with big play after big play to escape Wingate with a one-point victory. So what did you learn about your team exactly that night?
Well, obviously that we have fight. And we can face adversity and come out stronger, because right now this part in the season we haven't really had close games. We hadn't faced anything like that, and so we came out with such a great lead. I mean, Carson Sims was hitting everything at the start of the game, and we take a 12-point lead, and we were leading pretty much throughout the game, and I think we got tired, and obviously we got in foul trouble, and Josie fouled out, and then Gerda fouled out, and we had a hard time with Marta, and I mean, Marta's a great post player, and so it really put the chemistry that we've had in our subbing definitely wasn't there. We had to go with Shamaria, and I thought she did a great job. I thought she stepped up and gave us some great minutes in that game. And, so again, I think that game was just a great test for us, because there's going to be teams that we're going to face later on in the season, and it could be Wingate again when they come to our place. And, it's things aren't going to go our way throughout the game. We are going to get in foul trouble, that sort of thing, and the fact that we were able to have one of our freshmen step up and give us big minutes and still be able to pull out the victory. One thing I will say, in the first overtime, I was nervous, because I just felt like we wanted the game to be over with, and we didn't really come out with that fire, and then Rachel hit that last second shot to put us into another overtime, and so I was a little bit nervous with the first overtime, but the second overtime I had no question. I mean, they were it's kind of like they were almost a little mad, a little ticked off almost, and they were like, daggone it, let's take care of it this next 5 minutes and put it away. And they came out a little bit more aggressive in that second overtime, and I just want to brag on this team, because we had so many situations like that last year in we came out sluggish and we came out tired and with kind of that defeatist attitude that we don't want to be playing this next 5 minutes and that sort of thing. And it showed. And we didn't pull out with all those victories. But I mean, there was no question in my mind, just because of their attitude going into that second overtime, that, okay, we're going to take care of business right now.
A trend that's really emerged with this team that I've noticed is just how well they've started. And you talked about the overtimes, but I want to go back to where the games really start. In the first quarter, you guys have dominated all season. You had an 8-point lead at the end of the first quarter at Wingate. You had an 8-point lead at the end of the first quarter against Newberry. And really, that's been the case all season. Through the whole season, 11 games, you guys are outscoring your opponents by 111 points in the first quarter. So, what has this team been able to do that's allowed them to get off to such a good start on a night-in, night-out basis?
Well, I think they know that like each team and each 5 that we've got know that that's their time. And so it's because we do go very deep in the bench. And I know a lot of coaches don't do that, but I like that because our team, it makes our team competitive. It keeps them honest. And I, again, we have fresh legs. And so I like going deep in our bench. And I feel like our chemistry is so good that, we don't lose anything. But that starting 5, they know that that's their time. And they come out and they're aggressive. And that the starters, you got Shay Coker, you got Megan Pittman, you got Josie, you got Carson Sims, you got Sydney. And all of them are great scorers. And, you just never know whose night it is. I mean, it could be Shay's, and Shay could be really hot. Or it could be, like we said at Wingate, it was Carson Sims, and she had the hot hand. There's been times where Megan has hit a 3, actually 2 threes starting off the first couple minutes. And so, you got Josie cleaning up the boards and everything. So you just never know whose night it is. And luckily, that starting 5, they just get really hot, and they know that it's their job to start the game in the right way and give us the tempo before we go to our bench. And they've taken pride in that.
Well, now you haven't played, like we said, since December 17th. Had a nice little break there for the holidays and New Year's. Kind of what is the last week or so been like for the Lady Railsplitters?
We've had a lot of 2-a-days, just because, again, we have had such a long break, and I want to make sure that our strength is our speed, and we don't want to lose that. And having girls sit around and eating a lot of good Christmas meals isn't necessarily great for the court. And so we've been trying to just make sure that we're where we need to be as far as just in shape and cardio wise. And so we've been doing a lot of different practices and working on our foot speed and that sort of thing. And then the first couple of days, we've just been totally focused on us. We've expanded our offense a little bit, added a few things, and we've also added a few things on defense as well, just expanding us. And then the last few days, we've been totally focused on Mars Hill. Mars Hill, has had a game. They played Carson Newman on Saturday, and so they've had one game coming back from their break. And so, again, I'm sure you're going to see a lot of cobwebs from us on Wednesday, but hopefully we can get it going and, be able to pull out a victory.
Let's talk about that Mars Hill team a little bit. You had already alluded to that on Wednesday. Mars Hill comes in here. You get the 2017 portion of the schedule started at 6 p.m. here in Tex Turner. Mars Hill, obviously, you look at the record, they've struggled a lot. Won their season opener, a 1-point win over Lees McRae, and only won one game since then. And they're coming off a 38-point loss at Carson Newman, or at home to Carson Newman. So what have you seen from this team?
The one thing that with Mars Hill that, again, I really like about this team is they are scrappy. And they get after it, and we're going to be pressed, and they're going to trap us however many times. And, we've been working on those things, and they're really going to get after us, and they don't give up. I mean, the only problem that I have seen, just watching the Carson Newman game, they're just having trouble scoring. Scoring's coming pretty hard with them, and it's kind of like they exert so much energy. I mean, they were on the boards and they were getting all kinds of offensive rebounds against Carson Newman and everything, but it's just they exert so much energy getting that rebound that they don't gather and really take the time to finish it. And I hope they continue that trend, but I just, the fire that this team has and the grit that this team has, I really like and I admire. I mean, I keep telling our players, look, don't look at their record. This is a good team. They're talented. They get after it. They're not going to sit down. They're not going to, just let us do whatever we want to do. I mean, we got to come in here and take care of business and treat it, like anybody else. They remind me a lot of Coker. And Coker, we really struggled with. I mean, Coker is a very aggressive team. They really get after it. They got quick, athletic kids, which Mars Hill does. And we really had to, take care of business and really focus on the details. And I see nothing different coming in here with Mars Hill. I mean, we're going to have to take care of the details and make sure that, we're keeping them off the boards because they do an excellent job. And you can't jump with them. It's not that type of team. Even though you look at the height advantage, we have it. But if you don't stay, to your techniques, they're going to go around you, and they're quick, and they're going to, like I said, knock down some of those rebounds. But if we just stick with our technique and focus on all the details, we should be all right.
Well, so what is the main concern for you as a coach coming off that long break and then having to play a team who you already worry about their scrappiness and how hard they play on a night in, night out basis? So, what is the main concern for you as a coach? We know there's going to be some rust there without playing in 2 weeks and some change. So
you just hit it. That's my concern, is just the fact that this is a fast, aggressive team that we're facing, and they're gritty. And again, this is kind of we've been on this break, so it's not like it's a team that's walks the ball up the floor, that sort of thing. I think that would be a better game for us right now, but it's not. It's kind of, we're throwing the girls into the deep end and say, hey, I hope you are running over the break, because you're facing a team that's fast and athletic and very scrappy. So that's my fear, is just, again, was that break too long?
And then really this begins after Wednesday night's game. It really begins a stretch. It's probably one of the toughest pockets of the schedule for you guys. 6 of the next 8 games after that on the road. And that includes a trip to Queens, who's really kind of on the up and up.
Yes.
Mars Hill's old coach goes there is now the head coach at Queens. And then you've got Anderson, who is at second place, and then Catawba, who's right behind Anderson in third place. That's kind of the next 3 games after this. So how important is it to kind of get out there and see your team continue the way they played in the 2016 portion of the schedule?
It's terribly important. And I think Sarah, the coach at Queens, I think she does an excellent job. And, so again, it's keeping that focus on the road. And I mean, we really had a luxury this year in our schedule. I mean, we've been home so much, and we were able to open up the tournament home. And so again, us being on the road is definitely, it's going to be a struggle for us. And the one thing though I am just encouraged by is our leadership on this team has been so good. And we've got girls, seniors calling each other up, like, all right, you guys got to get in bed, you got to make sure that we're doing I mean, they're like staying on top of it, and it's nice, because that's not coming from me, it's coming from their teammates. And so with that part, I'm not worried about. I'm just worried about just when it's game time, everybody keeping their focus. You're not at home, you don't have you're not used to the gym, you're not used to the rims, all the different things that you're comfortable with being in your own gym. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's part of the schedule, and yes, it is a kind of a crappy piece in there. But I mean, if we can pull out with some victories on the road, with the 7 straight that we do have on the road, I mean, I think it just makes us a stronger team. And again, I keep telling them, the girls, everything that we're doing right now is a test for conference tournament time. I mean, we're going to be on the road at conference tournament time. We're going to have to play back-to-back, and it's going to be tough, and we're not going to be in the best environment. But again, this prepares us for there. So hopefully they keep that in their mind, and you see us a much better team in February than you see us right now.
When I want to, right now seems like as good a time as any to really, you're done with the 2016 portion of the schedule. We're nearing kind of the halfway point of the regular season. So I want just you to kind of reflect, how obviously your team's 11-0 right now. They've won every game. They haven't had many close games at all. A couple overtime games in there, but other than that, it's been pretty smooth sailing. So really assess how your team's performed through the first 11 games of the season.
Well, obviously, I think we've done a great job. The only thing that I feel like we need to keep building on is our offense. We take quick shots, and sometimes that's been in our favor, and thus far it has been in our favor, but I wish we would work the ball around a little bit more. And but again, that's something that we have been working on, and are definitely focused on. And then as far as defensively, I feel like our defense has been so much better this year than it has last year. And I think we're playing way more team defense this year, and our help side's there. The different things that we are trying to build on is, we're mainly a man-to-man team, and I'd like to mix it up a little bit more. And so we've been adding, a couple more presses, a couple more half courts. I like zones. So the fact that we can mix things up and kind of keep the offense on their toes a little bit more is something that we're going to continue to work on.